Is my understanding.
I got the boots with the fur.
Well, all right, 6 o'clock. Let's get started here. Stan has a note card.
I have one note card.
Smooth,
Santa.
All right. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take the roll.
Councilmember Wood.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Present.
Councilmember Smith. Here. Councilmember Crossman.
I'm here.
Oh, sorry.
That guy.
Councilmember Hess. Councilmember Palmer.
Here.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
He's excused.
Mayor Dependent.
Here. All right, can we get an agenda approval? For us,
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, thank you, Councilmember Palmer. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. We have an agenda. Starting off for special presentations. Unfortunately, there is Kyle, the CEO for the South Sound YMCA, is unable to be here tonight for this. He is sick. He called earlier this morning, so I apologize for that. We're gonna have to move it over to next month. So I'm sorry for that. I know there's some folks here in the audience that wanted to hear that or hear about the YMCA updates. Just to kind of reiterate on some of the things that are included in that museum, though, and I'd be happy to answer questions that I can have the ability to do. But inside this YMCA, we're planning to have a library to replace our current library location, a permanent home for the museum. There's going to be 2 pools, 1 lap, 1 activity, a gym, and some other space for other activities, just that like yoga, stuff like that, other activities like that. Right now, there's a location near the high school that is the most prominent location that we've discussed, but it's still in the air right now, the exact. If there's any questions I can answer right now, or if there's any questions that the council wants to hear about, for Kyle to answer for when he does present, maybe it'll be more helpful for that and more productive. So, Councilmember Smith.
We had discussed briefly the museum going in there and there being a lot of concerns about moisture and stuff in the pool. So how is he going to make sure that that's not a problem?
That's a good question. We'll have him absolutely discuss that.
All right, thank you.
Any others? Councilmember Hess?
With the library museum, at least those 2 elements being in the YMCA, how's it going to be access control? Because in my understanding of the YMCA is 1 entry point, you show your card, and then you get to go further. If we have these in the building, is there going to be a firewall between the 2 that separates everything? And YMCA is one side and city managing the other side? And if so, and if that's the case, how are we going to separate all the maintenance and everything that needs to be done for those 2 facilities?
Another good question. Councilmember Crossman. Thank you.
You said gym. Is it like a basketball gym or a workout gym?
A basketball gym. Well, both. Excuse me, both. There would be a gym for basketball and other activities like that, like a full court, as well as activities. Just excuse me, like a normal gym would have.
All right, thank you.
Other questions? Any from the audience? Public here? All right, we will move on then. If there's no other questions or comments regarding the YMCA, we will go ahead and reschedule this. So the earliest likely in January, 1 of the 2 meetings in January. All right, moving on to public comment. We have 2 cards. Dustin, 7.
Council members, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, sir. So this is in regards to the YMCA. As many of you know, I wear several hats in our community. I'm here in this capacity as a small business owner. I own Yard here in town, which is a youth athletic recreation and development. We are a athletic and academic touring facility. My concern with the YMCA is basically how such a large organization is going to impact the small businesses of our community. Whether it be gym structure, mine specifically, are very youth focused and youth oriented. We offer several of the similar programs that the YMCA offers. And the fact that the city is considering supporting such a large organization by use of city and public funds, it's going to hurt small businesses. So, I employed 9 people from the community. Several programs, athletic, skill-based, life-based, try and prevent or create a positive environment for the youth of our community so that they can grow up and be contributing members to our society. I guess I asked for caution in being so gung-ho about bringing in such a large organization in our small community. I get the need. One of the big draws to the YMCA is the pool setup, and I would counter that we don't need a YMCA to have a pool. We can have an aquatic center without having such a overbearing organization come into town. We are a small growing company. My future growth plans include an entertainment area for the kids to hang out. Arcade type style, that type of setup, and we just got to get there. And so, I would just counter that as a small city, we should be supporting the small businesses versus bringing in such a large organization that are going to just cripple us.
Thank you for your concerns, Justin. I do believe there's opportunities that the city may be able to partner with Yard in other capacities as well, and starting immediately. I'd be happy to sit down and chat with you regarding some of those possible partnerships.
Absolutely, I'd be willing and open to that.
Great. Is there any questions, comments from the council? Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, thanks.
We have one other comment card from Harry Miller, AKA Santa. Free range, Santa.
Thank you. As you recall, I made a special visit here in January of last year, and you promised a parade. And because of restructuring within the Chamber of Commerce and your commitment, it was an awesome parade. There were over 40 participants. The weather was good. It was fantastic. Still developing programs that work, in the park itself, but the lighting is improving. And I know as the budget increases, this town is going to be spectacular. And I just want to say thank you for that. It's so much fun hanging out with the kids and the parents and seeing the giving structure that is in this town, that is part of the DNA here. And it's fun being Santa. And I'd recommend it to everybody. Right now, I get to do it. Also, this is the 50th anniversary of the Yelm Senior Center. And there is an auction on Saturday night. And I just want to thank you for all of the support that you have given to our seniors. I kind of love the spectrum of the kids and then the older kids. It's a hoot. And so thank you very much for your support. And I love this. I love this town. And we're going to talk more about 98597 come the first of the year, because I think there's a plan. And it's nice seeing, I guess, all the faces. And thank you. Merry Christmas.
Is there anyone online that wishes to speak?
No hands raised.
All right. That we'll go ahead and move on to our consent agenda. We have the November 28th, 23 and December 5th, 2023 meeting minutes. Is there a motion? Councilmember Hess.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilmember Wood. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to new business. We have ordinance 1109 Municipal Code Title V Amendments. I believe this is our finance department.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor and council members. So I wanted to introduce Sarah Kidd, who is our B&O tax analyst, and she can take the podium. And then we also have Kim Rocker, who is our financial analyst. We do have the ordinance starting on page 8 in your packet, if you have that pulled up. And Sarah's gonna give us a short presentation of the proposed changes to the municipal code.
Hello, thank you. So the first one that we've got here is section 5.0.2 or 02.020. We want to propose a new special event vendor license. We have been seeing an increase in vendor events in parks and around the area. And currently our municipal code does not allow us to have unlicensed vendors in the park. They have to get a state license as well as the Yelm business license. And to do that, they have to apply through Department of Revenue, which can be kind of a frustrating process, especially if you're not as computer savvy. So this would give an option for us to be able to offer these people another way to be a vendor at an event that's here in the city. There would be certain conditions. They would have to make under $2,000 gross revenue. So that'd be gross amounts of tickets sold or revenue sold. And then under $12,000 in the state of Washington. So if they were over one of those two thresholds, they would still have to go through the regular business licensing process. We proposed that we would have 2 different fees. We would have one for just a weekend that would cover them Friday through Sunday. That would be $25. And then $50 would give them a pass for the months of May through October. So this would be great for like our folks coming to the farmers markets or something like that, where they're a routine vendor coming into the city. They would be applying online, or they could come into City Hall and use the kiosk. Myself or Kim would be glad to help them walk them through the process so that it would be easy. The fees collected would offset city staff time in putting the information into the system, printing out any vendor, if they would get a pass that they would have posted. If we ever had to print more of those, that fee would also offset those costs. And then just the tracking the information, making sure that we have everybody's contact information updated. Again, this option is going to let people operate at our events within code without being in violation of the code, and save them time and money. Just for an example, if they do a Department of Revenue license, it can be anywhere from $95 and up, depending on how many additional cities they add. So this would give them another option that's not quite so expensive, especially for those people that maybe are only doing $200 worth of sales in a weekend. So that's the first one. The second one is we would like to repeal the cabarets section. That would be section 5.12. This section is outdated. It's not easily enforced. It's not often used. We don't currently have anyone licensed to run a cabaret. We believe as a city that there are better suited options available at this time to be able to enforce events such as that. The next section is 5.02.075. This would be an exemption. We want to add an exemption into the code for youth organizations and as well as youth-run businesses. So currently we don't have any exemptions. So for like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, there's no exemption in our code that allows them to operate without having to attain a business license. We would like to support youth and youth-run businesses. So this would allow those folks to not have to have a business license or pay B&O taxes for like Girl Scout cookies, Boy Scout popcorn. And then also nonprofits, organizations that are fraternal orders, religious organizations that operate on a direct fundraising basis, meaning that they're not paying a CEO, board of directors, something like that. It would be money comes in, it directly supports their mission. It directly supports those people that are part of that organization. The next section, 5.06.078, the newspaper. This is a mandatory language change coming down through the state of Washington. This one is just, they added a new time frame as well as amended the definition of a newspaper per the RCWs. It's just bringing in more of a digital standpoint that wasn't there when they originally wrote the code. We don't expect it to affect us in any way in what we do or how we've collected things before, but it is a mandatory change coming down from the state of Washington. The next section, 5.03 sorry. This is updated language to our code to support an online filing. Previously, we would mail tax returns out to people to fill out. We now have moved to an online form. We want to make sure that everyone is using that online form. It saves time, it saves money and not sending out papers. We offer the kiosk here in the lobby. Anyone's welcome to come in and use that if they don't have a computer or something like that. This would support that and not have that we're mailing papers to people because we haven't done that in years. So it's just cleaning up that section. And then we also offers a waiver for someone that is not able to comply with that. So if there was someone that absolutely could not, they would just submit a waiver and then we would help them through that process to make sure that they're still able to. And then the last section, 5.04.050, we are removing the dollar amount from the NSCFB as listed. Since it does change, we're going to be moving that into the fee schedule, and it would be listed there at whatever the current rate is, as it does change more frequently than we wanted to have to bring code changes to you. And that is all I've got for you.
Questions, comments? Councilmember Huss?
When you were talking about the revenue generated, is that annual revenue of the 2,000 and 12,000?
Yes, correct. Yes, annual revenue. I'm sorry about that.
Councilmember Wood?
Thank you. I'm curious, you mentioned in the first, that was a whole lot of information, by the way. In the very first thing you were discussing, you were talking about the situation you're creating in order for vendors to do business here in Yelm without acquiring, I believe you said a state business license?
Correct.
Now, how does the state feel about that?
So the state license currently is required for anything over $12,000 or when the city requires it. Because we do require it, that then makes the state want to take care of licensing them for us because everything has to go through Department of Revenue. By adding this to our code, then we're not cutting out the state. We're not, taking away their.
If I may, it sounds like we're aligning with what the state requires.
Yes, and we're giving, like I said, an additional option for people that are not making a lot of money, that it's a smaller, it's not a repeat business. These are like grandmothers knitting and young artisans creating jewelry.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Councilmember Crossman online.
Yeah, thank you. Tracy asked my first question. Second one I had was the youth businesses, if they go over 12,000, would they have to get a business license then from the state? We're just keeping them free as long as they say under 12. Is that how I understand?
So the youth businesses would be an exemption to our requirement to have a license. So if they were going to go over that 12,000, then Washington State, that's Washington State's, mandate. So at that point, they would be required to get a business license through Washington State because Washington State does not have an exemption for minors.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Sarah. Part of the presentation. With that, take a motion. Member Hess?
I move that we approve ordinance number 1109, updating the Yelm Municipal Code, Title 5, to add special event vendor licenses and other mandatory updates as briefed.
And I'll second that.
Second by Councilmember Palmer. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Finance Department. All right, moving on to item B, confirmation of Mayor DePetto's appointments to the boards and commissions. Before we do that, I'll go ahead and just list the different committee or the advisory boards, commissions, the key facts and information on it. City of Yelm's open positions on the advisory boards and commissions. The open positions were posted on the city website November 1st, 2023, and on the City Yelm Facebook page on October 19th, 2023, November 14th, 2023, and November 22nd, 2023. Applications were accepted from October 15th through November 30th with 15 applications submitted. I made the following appointments on the Planning Commission: David Johnstone and Ashley Brooks. Arts Commission, Steve Harshfield. Parks Advisory Committee, Sandy Hansen and Ann Orman. Both of those were reappointments. Police Advisory Board, Nabil Hamid and Angela Longnecker. And Homelessness Committee, Ashley Brooks, after a resignation from another member on that committee. Is there any discussion, comments? Councilmember Smith.
I actually have three questions. The first one is, why was this initially on the consent agenda and then switched to the regular agenda?
Yeah.
It was on the agenda, regular agenda both times. It was presented one time to you previously on the consent agenda, but it was asked at that point in time for it not to. So
Okay.
the last time we brought it was regular new business too.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I just want to verify the dates because applications were accepted like from October 15th. So that's like when it was officially official, but it wasn't posted until October 19th and going forward, correct? Okay, and then,
And just to say off that too, you can apply at any time to be on these.
okay, all right.
We make applications throughout the whole year.
Okay, and then I'm assuming Ashley, Miss Brooks, applied on the 29th or something because she was a council member, correct, up until the 28th?
When did she apply? Do you know?
I don't have the exact date of her application. It was after she was off of the council. The open period when we were advertising, it was, I believe, through the end of November, if I don't have it in front of me, but
It is November 30th.
yes.
Okay,
She applied immediately after.
okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
I got a question.
Yeah, Councilor Wood.
There's what we're looking at is a potential motion to confirm your appointments. And honestly, I'm new, so I don't know anything about any of these folks. Was there a period where, because I'm not sure that you need us to confirm your appointments, do you?
I believe in the council mayor handbook, they do require confirmations. Yes.
Yes.
So if that's the case, it just seems kind of rushed because we have had no information on any of these folks. So to ask for a confirmation on someone that I really know nothing about, I think would be perhaps out of line. So I'm not sure if I should abstain from a vote like that, or if it's something we can table until we have an opportunity to actually do a little bit of research and have some, if there are viable questions to be asked, to ask those questions.
To respond first. In the past, this is traditionally how we've done it. I think when you were on council as well, there wasn't any packets on backgrounds, the applications. But if the council would like, the applications, or they want what was sent to us, absolutely, we can get that information to you and you can vet them yourself and go ahead and look through them if you want to delay the process. But Councilor Wood.
I think what would at least work most effectively for myself would be if we could, in a study session, actually talk, go through your applications. If that's, and once again, these are your appointments, I understand. So I just find it odd that we have to confirm them, and I'm not sure what the, what the rules or the laws are on that. But if they're your appointments, it just doesn't seem logical that we would have to confirm them.
Yeah, it's just been the way it's been for a long time. I believe we've decades probably that we've.
And it was part of the resolution that was approved, I believe, there was a one in 2020 that started, that adopted the roles and responsibilities for the, and it included the roles and responsibilities as an appendix in the mayor council member handbook. And that does state that, the mayor appoints and then council confirms on most of them, unless there's a statutory requirement otherwise.
Otherwise, if we don't have to, if the council doesn't have to confirm, I'd be happy just to make the appointment. But it's more for a check and balance, if anything.
And I understand. And like I said, if that's what we're faced with here, I think it'd be helpful to have some information, even if it's just access to the applications and a conversation with you in a study session. I think it'd be.
And I'd be happy to, discuss any of the, from my recollection, I don't have their applications in front of me, but I'd be happy to go over some of my thoughts on some of these, if that helps the council on some of their decisions, if they want to move forward tonight. But if not, is there any PECs there might be on some of these committees that they need to have reappointments. I'm not sure, but I think, are you discussing right now then? So is there a timeline that we have to have these done?
Well, we have positions that expire as of December 31st. So we will have positions that will be vacant if we don't.
Could we do a special meeting then perhaps before January 1st?
What I'm curious is when these folks actually have their meetings, because we have a meeting, right out the gate in January. So if their meetings are mid-January, at that point, we'd still have time to just, discuss it in a study session and then, and confirm if that's required. But once again, I think we ought to take a look to see if it's even required that we confirm your appointments.
Okay, Councilor Hess?
Kind of piggyback on what Councilmember Wood was asking. I believe earlier this year, we had some appointments going and the question had been brought up by, I believe it was Councilmember Crossman. Why are we approving something that you have total control of, that is your privy, compared to like the police chief and certain other positions that, these are ones that the council has to be involved in. And I thought during that discussion, there was going to be a change in the future of it, we were no longer going to have it brought up as a actionable item, but it was going to be in the consent agenda of you announcing who was going to fill these roles.
I thought it was the opposite. You wanted to take it out of the consent agenda, put it on the actual agenda, but I could be mistaken on that. Do you recall? Kathy, on
I'd
that?
have to go back and.
The point of it is that right now, currently, it is in our protocol manual that council does confirm the mayor's appointments. So just following our own procedures, that's why we're doing this. Happy if you don't want to, if you want to change that, happy to have that conversation as well. But as it stands, we do need to confirm the appointments. Councilmember Smith.
Just taking your words that it's checks and balances, which I agree with. To me, it's not prudent, or we're not doing our due diligence if we're going to vote on something that we have no knowledge of. I mean, I know some of the people, but I do think that if we're going to vote on it, I think we do need to at least see the applications.
Okay.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to see all of the applications that were submitted or the ones that he's appointing?
Well,
See
that opens up a whole, I mean, I think if we're voting on, if we're going to vote what he selected on, then really our due diligence would be to look at everything, correct? I mean, that's how I see it. Because otherwise,
So we can absolutely do that.
I mean,
We can do what you want. I just want
feel like-
clarification of myself. If I forward them, I just want to make sure.
I don't know
I
if
have
I'm
clarification.
feeling this way.
I'm happy to send you what you want.
Councilmember Palmer.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Holly on this. I'd like to look at more of the applications, or at least break it down to like a top 3 per, and then we can go.
Yeah,
I have a broader spectrum of knowledge on this.
Sure.
because otherwise, if it's, because I do remember the conversation you were talking about, and I don't remember where it landed, but if that's the case, then that's fine. It's but then we shouldn't be voting on it.
Understood.
Okay.
Would the council be open to, because some of these we need to get done before the end of year end. Is that because they expire, the terms expire?
Yeah, we have terms that do expire on all of these. Yes, that expire as of the end of the year.
Would council be open to having a special meeting to confirm these?
I mean, I don't believe if we held them at our first meeting in January, I don't think it would be the end of when is planning commission meeting?
They'll meet right before the first meeting, I think, that Monday right before.
And that's one of the ones is planning commission. We have 2 people whose terms expire and they're not returning. So
I could do a special meeting. I can't speak.
Yeah, that would be wise. If we're gonna make that request, then we should do it a special meeting and show up.
Okay. What's the requirement for a public meeting to have that announced? 24 hours. Okay, let's give it at least a week though. Is that fair? Is that enough for the council? A week?
Yeah.
Okay, we will get those out to you either tonight or tomorrow morning.
are you doing a special meeting?
We will do at least a week. Let's see here. Do you want next Tuesday for the 19th?
That'll work.
That'll work for me.
Yep, 19th. All right, and it should just be a quick meeting. We'll just do but that will be the only thing on the agenda.
Okay. Josh.
Excuse me, Councilmember Crossman.
Sorry.
See you up there.
Let's forget about here. Yeah, I was just gonna chime in, my opinion, kind of along the same lines. It's either your purview to do it totally, or it's council's. Sounds like it should be one or the other.
What's that? Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yes, hey, sorry. Yeah, I feel it should either be totally your decision or council's, one or the other. It's a little confusing as it is right now, and I've stated that before, so I agree with, what everyone's saying as well. And it would be nice to, get that information of what is actually required, Do we have to confirm it, or can just you, Mr. Mayor, take care of it and it's done, and you just let us know, basic kind of thing?
All right,
And I'm fine with Tuesday.
okay. As it stands, I think we should do that special meeting. We'll get that information out to you either tonight or tomorrow morning. So you can have ample time to review, and if you want to contact the candidates or the appointees, and we'll go from there. Councilmember Hess.
Just to kind of make it official, I'd like to move that we push back the confirmation of the appointments from today to next week of December 19th at 0600, or not 0600, at 1800 or 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. My brain's
Okay. Just to repeat that, moving this under new business confirmation, Mayor DePeto's appointment to the boards commissions to a special meeting at 6 p.m. 1 week from today on Tuesday, December 19th. Okay, is there a second? Councilmember Richardson seconds. Any discussion on this? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We will go ahead and meet here 1 week from today and we'll get that information out to you immediately. All right, moving on to old business. It's none scheduled. Standing committee, council committee report, starting with Public Safety Committee.
We had actually a short and small meeting. Both of it revolved around the 2%, the public safety tax. They're hoping to get their first check, or whatever you want to call it, I believe in June. And the focus is going to be on equipment. So they're going to put it towards the vehicles, tasers, non-lethal that they need. So that was the majority of it.
Very good. All right, moving on to Public Services Committee.
Nothing new.
Okay, moving on to Finance Committee.
Nobody saying.
All right, moving on to Mayor, City Administrator, staff reports. I'm going to have Cody talk briefly about some of the things going on in the Public Services Committee, and then I'll go over some of the other things throughout the city.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna talk briefly on some of the projects that you may notice. Dog park on schedule, under budget right now. Plan is opening early spring. So March, April timeframe.
Is there a soft opening?
Yeah, there'll be a soft opening, probably. It'll be finished, all the work we've done minus landscaping by the end of this month. So it'll be theoretically usable, but we're not gonna officially open until March when we can put stuff there. So people will be able to go there and use it, but we won't have the official opening until landscaping's in place after March. The Prairie Line Trail started construction yesterday. So you'll see them out working between, the hours of 7 and 10 on the weekdays. And they're going to be, that trail should be a pretty quick project. That'll be opening spring also of next year. So early spring, we'll have a big opening for that. Stage is, realize it's fenced back up. That's the cosmetic section. So they're doing, you notice they probably put stain, they're putting some metal on the roof, doing the electrical stuff in there. So that'll be all wrapped up too by the end of this month. So it'll be officially good to go early spring also. So everything's looking on schedule for project wise in early spring.
Any questions, comments for Councilmember Colt, or Director Colt? All right. For myself, I have a couple things. I do have appointments for the internal committees and external for the council, and as well as some other updates. Let's start with let's start off with committee assignments. So for public safety, we got Councilmember Smith, Councilmember Wood, Councilmember Hess, with Councilmember Hess as the chair of the Public Safety Committee. For public services, we got Councilmember Crossman, Councilmember Richardson, Councilmember Kaminsky, with Councilmember Crossman as the chair. For finance, we have Councilmember Richardson, Councilmember Palmer, and Councilmember Smith, with Councilmember Smith as the chair of that committee. For the Homelessness Committee, we have Councilmember Palmer. For TRPC Policy Board, I remained on that. TRPC Transportation Policy Board, Councilmember Wood. For the Senior Center Liaison, we have Councilmember Richardson. For SWAC, we've got Councilmember Palmer. For TCOM, we got Councilmember Wood. Southeast Thurston Liaison, we got Councilmember Smith. Thurston County Law and Justice, we have Councilmember Kaminsky. For Steady, we have Councilmember Crossman. And for Thurston Thrives, we have Councilmember Hess. I did my best to get everyone at least their number one choice, if not a couple of their top choices. Not everyone was able to get their top choice, so thank you for those that are going to be serving on committee that you might not necessarily want, but thank you for that service. Moving on to other, is there any questions or comments regarding those appointments? Okay, moving on to some other things we have going on. For me, I attended the Thurston EDC, which I also serve on for the city Economic Development Council. They will be presenting in February regarding any of their kind of what a recap for the year and what they offer, what services they offer for local businesses here in Yelm. We had our Thanksmas last week, last week. Thank you, Councilor Richardson and Kaminsky, for attending those and saying hello. It was a wonderful. It was a wonderful Thanksmas party. We had steel barrel barbecue, and they did a wonderful job with the turkeys, and it was really nice. And thank you so much for all of our employees. We thank them, of course, at that, but thank you so much for all the employees that have done such a good job for the city of Yelm and for the residents here. We have Don Moody, who is our works in the police department, long-time employee of the city. He is retiring Friday at 11 a.m. at the Public Safety Building. We are doing a little thank you to him, and it's a little small little retirement party. Council is more than welcome to be there, and we hope you do attend if you can. And that's at the Public Safety Building, 11 o'clock. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Let's go to Councilmember Hess.
Do have a question to ask. In reference to the appointments, what about the Intercity Transit Authority? As well as the Homeless Committee, Regional Homelessness Committee, and a variety of the other.
Regional Homeless Committee?
Regional Housing Committee.
Oh, yeah, I was on that.
Okay. Yeah, excuse me. For the Regional Housing Authority, Intercity Transit, you are the,
Okay.
I did not have that on this list. Sorry about that. For the
RHC.
Yeah, all right.
RHC,
You had, I wasn't on that one.
I know.
Yeah, you have.
sorry about that. Councilmember Palmer, you were on that one as well.
Second page.
There's a second page. Sorry. Oh. Who would have thought that? I apologize. Thank you, Councilmember Hess. For the EMS Council, we have Councilmember Palmer. For Intercity Transit, Councilmember Hess. Regional Housing Authority, Councilmember Palmer. And for the Nisqually River Council, Councilmember Kaminsky.
I'll email a complete list to everyone in the morning.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you. There's a page 2. Who would have thought it?
No, you're right.
Arrows turn.
Yeah.
Drop, so I was happy.
Thank you. Any other questions for me then? All right, we'll start off with council committee reports, starting with Councilmember Wood.
I didn't have any committees, but I did attend a training, the newly elected official trainings this Saturday in Olympia. And I also was able to attend previous council member Joe Baker's celebration of life, which I can tell you, if half that many people show up to my celebration, I'll feel like I've succeeded.
Very good.
That's what I got.
Thank you. Councilmember Richardson.
It was nice. Went to, I had to kind of host the chamber forum today. It was nice to have Santa there as well. And it was just good to have everybody together. We had the Yelm High School Chamber and Select Choir. They sang some wonderful songs. It was just such a great experience. I love what's happening in the community. Thank you for the park looking beautiful with Christmas lights. Ready for Christmas.
Very good. Councilmember Crossman.
There we go. I got a question, Mr. Mayor, on the AWC legislative agenda you handed out last week. What say do we have in that as a city of Yelm?
Very little. I mean, it comes down, it's voted on at the annual convention, which I attended as well as former Councilmember Brooks. Every year we get an opportunity to have 3 voting delegates to that. I believe it's 3. It's 2 or 3 voting delegates on that. I would encourage council if they can to attend this upcoming year. But that's the opportunity that we do have to voice concerns and support or not support for that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just had concern about one of their topics there. And I don't have anything else to report.
All right.
I forgot to mention, Harry, it's this Saturday.
Saturday it starts at 5:30, right? And I believe they have sold all of the tickets.
I think so.
It'll be steak and lobster, which that doesn't usually go with the senior menu, but hallelujah. And then an auction trying to retire the debt, which I think is about 42,000. So thank you for your support.
Councilmember Smith.
I will be attending that.
Senior Center.
And I didn't have any meetings, but I did attend the movie over the weekend. The community came out with gifts and Santa was there, and they partnered with the Knights of Columbus to do another Coke giveaway. So it was very good to see the community come together. So
We had a Polar Express guy there too.
oh yeah, there was a weird guy there.
Councilmember S. Thank you.
The First Special Forces Group just got done having their annual celebration of Menton Week, which was a great opportunity to once again be reminded of how the Special Forces came about within our forces there. And hopefully next year be able to attend their wonderful Menton Ball. It's been a while since I've done that.
On that note, Councilmember, I will try to get that tour. I mean, we're trying to work with their garrison commander to get that scheduled. Tour like we've done in the past. I don't know if this council's done it last year, but I think Councilmember Wood was on and when we did a tour of JBLM of some of the partners on there. So yeah, we'll try to get that set up again and make sure we connect. And
then the additional thing I want to put out is appreciate our community supporting the Jewish community with the menorah, as well as for those that wish to show support to the Jewish community. They are asking, if you want to put up in your window a menorah. It's not, as some people have thought, cultural appropriation is showing support of this particular time period, which is a struggle for them at this time.
Thank you. And I did represent, it was an honor to light the first candle for them. Councilmember Palmer.
No committees, but to echo Councilman Wood, did attend the newly elected official training and learned a lot of worthwhile things there, especially the presentation on Robert's Rules of Order. That was, gave that. She was amazing.
She does the dino, was it the dino kid?
Yeah, the Jurassic. That's
very helpful.
That was a kick. And then, I also attended Joe Baker's celebration of life, huge turnout, and they were parking at the high school and the bank and everywhere. So that was nice to see the community turn out for that. And other than that, I did have a question for Cody about Creek Street and 103rd, the guardrails on either side. I've been getting some questions about that.
Well, all right, Cody, please.
Yeah, so we reached out to, we have an ILA with Thurston County, and we reached out to a separate company, got quotes from both of them. Separate company, we agreed to, they gave us their quote last week, Thursday. We agreed to it, and they're supposed to be out within the next 2 to 3 weeks to fix it. We don't have the ability ourselves to fix those, so we have to go out to either someone else or the county. And the county was several months out, so we had to go with a private company that could come out quicker.
Perfect. All right. I think I had like 6 people ask me about that. I'm like, I'll get you an answer.
Beginning on that, like Cody said, we don't have the capability ourselves to actually do it. So we had to contract out, but we got on it right away. It's just takes time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Councilor Smith.
Were you done? I apologize. I have
I'm all done.
one
Yes.
more thing. Mayor Pro Tem.
We will be doing that. Thank you for the reminder. We will be doing that at the first council meeting, not the study session, but the actual council meeting in January,
Thank you.
second Tuesday.
All right.
And so, yeah, and if council, okay, will continue to do that where someone's nominated and they just require a majority vote. Okay. Any other discussion? Anything good for the order? No executive session. Take a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Second. Second by Councilmember Palmer. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Or adjourn.